Hey, welcome to Her Opinion, and we have a special guest today with us, Jay Bradley. So, Jay, I know you, but Jen doesn't know you, so
No.
well, I don't really know you, but a little bit.
I started interrogating him a little bit when he got here. Anyways,
We know him now.
All
We
nice,
know him now.
nice questions. All nice questions. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah.
It's an absolute pleasure.
So you're going to be the him and our her.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So what that means basically is that it's Father's Day. Father's Day is coming up, and we wanted to get a guy on the show. And I told you, I wanted you to come on, and he did not say no. So that was good.
I don't know if anybody ever probably says no to you. I wasn't about to be the first one. I wasn't
Oh,
gonna
that's
expect
sweet.
I wasn't about to
Yeah,
say
I
it.
think they do.
and you are our first guy.
You know, thank you.
Our
That
first him.
I appreciate being y'all's first him.
Yeah.
I really, really, really do, and I think I'm gonna put it on my bio.
Yeah.
That's since I
He may
was-
be the forever him.
Yeah, I know.
We may have him on forever if
Right.
he does well.
We're gonna try it out. There's a little bit to it though, because I'm like for all men right now. I'm representing mankind
yes.
in totality. So if I screw this up,
I don't know if we will.
at least you don't have to change the branding. You know what I
Right.
Yeah,
mean? If I screw this up.
I think we should promote this one too, so
Yeah,
that way it
for
goes
sure.
all over the place. Yeah, no, but so we really wanted to touch base on fatherhood. So that's important to us. Like we said, we're a women's podcast, but we do support the men. We love to have the men on too. So stay tuned, guys.
Yes.
But just to touch base with you, so you're a father.
Yeah, it's actually probably my favorite role.
Well, that's amazing. And how many kids do you have?
Two. Yeah, I've got a 17-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old son. So it's
Nice.
She graduated at 17.
She just graduated. She's got her like 2. You know, girls, y'all have y'all stuff together early. Like I love my son. I absolutely love my son, but I had him for my daughter first and my son second. And so I'm so used to the way that girls learn, and it's like this, like teaching her math and like certain skill sets and things. It was just like this. And then with my son, I was like, I might need a helmet for this dude. You know what I mean? But it's just the difference in between the way girls pick up concepts and boys do. And of course he's came along and all those things, but like first 3 years, I was teaching her to read and fractions and all types of stuff. And he's like, we're still on the, you know. But, I mean, he's 8 now, so we got past the,
Yeah.
of course. But it's just, y'all are amazing. So, yeah, I became, when I had my daughter, I think I just became an absolute feminist. Yeah.
Well, we're moms of boys, so we
Yeah.
know. And you do need a helmet all the way, I think, till like what, 80?
Yeah, I
Never
just
stops.
got fitted for my new one. So.
Never stops. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you had some questions for him.
Yeah.
So,
So tell me a little bit about yourself, because I know you are a father, but at the same time you also have a career, and I'm sure trying to balance it all. You know, just like men have to do the same thing.
Yeah, there's a balance, but I feel like single moms, y'all end up getting more of the lion's share. I was just talking to a good friend of mine about that, and I was like, man, I just admire what you do. Who I was with the event that we were at the other day with, and I was like, just being a single mom, y'all really,
Yeah.
y'all do a lot. And then dads are just kind of like the supplement of what y'all do, right?
Yeah.
So congrats to all the single moms. Y'all are just, I think, superheroes. But as a single dad, I mean, you know, so I filed for divorce from my ex-wife when my daughter was 2. So we've had most of her lifetime me being, you know, a single dad, and it's fun, man. I mean, it's, you know, the character development that we do as parents. You know, I'm kind of like the fun, but very much, you know, when we're talking about doing personal work, I started my daughter really early, so that way she would be this evolved woman, which she's already kind of showing all those amazing things. But we started really early, so that's the fun part. You know, when you plant these seeds and, you know, kind of get their core values together and help them understand life and how to, you know, navigate personal and doing all those things, and then you see them blossom into these beautiful creatures that they become. That's the coolest thing ever.
okay, check. We can let him stay longer.
I get at least the first 5 minutes. All right.
Good
all right.
job. Yeah, it's amazing, really. It is, and it's so. Were you the main role in her life, or?
As far as from a male perspective, her mom does a great job. Like I said, I filed for divorce when she was 2, and so it was, if it's not working at home, have the courage to say, okay, you know, you go do your part with our kid, I'll go do my part, because this together ain't it, and I don't want her having these issues because we stayed together,
Yeah.
and she saw something that was
Yeah.
that wasn't good.
Right.
And then I'm responsible for her 20 years from then when she's on the therapist couch talking about her childhood and how, you know what I mean?
She might still do that.
Yeah, you look. She actually wants
We're
to
not
be
perfect.
she actually wants to be a psychologist. So I'm
Oh.
like, how much of that has to do with me?
Yeah.
Like,
That's tough. That's tough. For sure.
so it's like, is she fixing her childhood? Is that what's going on? No, but I mean, she's just you know, I think as parents, we just try to do the best we can, and the more we know. I have a therapist. My daughter has a therapist, and I feel like we all just need to have these conversations, right? And as parents, if we can give our kids the ability to communicate in a safe space and create what I call a safe container for them to communicate in, I think they do a lot better in life. You know, like there's nothing that my daughter, I don't think she feels there's anything she can't talk to dad about. I check my reactions. There's sometimes I want to be like, what? I'm gonna go kick this kid's ass, but in my head, that's where it is, and then it doesn't come out, right? And that's the responsibility, is just to kind of just allow them to talk. You know, if you have a teenager and they're talking, you're good.
Yeah, and being there for them, because right now at that stage of their life, you sometimes think, oh no, they're already old enough, they don't need me, but they need you.
Yeah.
And they need your advice.
Yeah.
You know, so
It
just
doesn't
being
stop.
there.
Yeah, parenthood is it's I'm sure I pray that
tough.
30 and 40 she's calling me like, Dad, I don't know how to deal with this. Cool, let's talk it out. Let's work it
Mine's
out.
24, and he calls me for the shit. Let me tell you. And I'm like, really, son? And he's like, yeah, Mom, just answer the question.
Yeah. Okay, well put the water in the
Yeah,
cup and
exactly.
then boil it and then put the rice in after that. Like, right?
Yeah.
Or
he-
sometimes they think they're right. And
Yeah.
then they're trying to tell me things, and I'm like, you haven't lived your life.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
have experience. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Got to deal with that too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's that's the cool part though, is we let them kind of we're all in this discovery, right? Like we're experiencing this thing that we call life, and it's such a beautiful journey. Even the downsides. I was talking to somebody earlier, and I was just like, man, she's 17 now, but I remember 2, and I also remember 13, and all these amazing things of like, yeah, it was great. I was able to hold her in my arm when she was a baby, and now she calls me and says, hey, Dad, I need your credit card for this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, either way, I'm there. I got you either way.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful experience, man. So I don't, out of anything that I've done in my life, I've had some really cool stuff professionally and all that stuff, but I think fatherhood is definitely the number one. Like, there's nothing else other than being a child of God that compares to it.
Yeah. And in terms of you with your discipline and everything with your children, do you find yourself doing the same things that, your dad did, or?
Yeah, I had these amazing mom and dad. Like, my dad was, and I've said this before, like, he's the business guy, MBA from TCU, this and that. And my mom was this very beautiful but powerful and nurturing creature as well, and like the first original she boss, you know what I mean? Like, just a boss lady for real. I've said it before, like, she's like Tupac in a dress. As a boy mom, you gotta have some inner gangster, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And so I just had these 2 great experiences of, parents that I got a chance to get this from dad, and I got a chance to have the understanding of women from my mom. So my mom really helped me be a great dad to my daughter, because that was the first experience that I got from a woman's emotional standpoint, right?
She instilled that in you.
Yeah, and then understanding that, and then being able to, I'm a very much kind of a math brain guy, right? So things are black and white. When you got a little daughter, ain't no more black and white, bro. It's all gray. It's all gray.
Yeah.
So I think it's just this beautiful experience. And so, like, yeah, I find myself being very similar to my dad. Was more of a talker, and like, okay, let's talk about it, and allowing you to elaborate. And he's got the patience, and he'll go through it. And my mom was like, this is what it's going to be. This is what I said it's going to be. I know. Get to it. You know what I mean? And then she'll explain some, but it ain't going to be a 30-minute conversation, and you're 5. My dad, you had time for it. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice that you did have that with your dad, because a lot of people don't, and that can affect a lot too later down the line. And I think as parents, we hope we do it right, but we sometimes still see, like, did I do that? Was I the cause of that? Is that why that fool's doing that?
right. There still will probably be a lot of that,
Yeah,
right?
I messed up my finances when I was young, and then I, became this really crazy person when it comes to finances now. And then I remember thinking, my son went to Miami, and he was like, I'm like, okay, look, I'm gonna give you this credit card. This is for emergency. You got your own money. I saw the credit card $800 the first day. I was like, what did you do? He was like, man, you should have seen the shoes up there.
Right. It was an emergency for real, Mom.
Yeah, I'm like cussing him out on the phone, and he's like, Mom, I'm with the boys right now. Like, can you talk about this later? And I was like,
put me on speaker. That would have been my mom. Put me on speaker so all of them know. I'm
so
holding everybody
at that
accountable.
point, do you tell yourself you failed? Like, what, like, where did I go wrong? But, yeah, so needless to say, he finally paid that off. But,
Yeah.
Now you know to give him the one with
Yeah.
the $200 limit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. So, it's definitely, hearing how gracious you're talking and everything about your beautiful daughter, let's talk about the helmet kit. So, we can relate.
Yeah.
my son is so cool though, man. He's like this, just laid back. It's just two totally different experiences. Both of my kids are really just chill. And so seeing them interact, like my favorite noises to hear in the house is my kids just laughing and playing. Just being, of course she's a big sister, and just letting him be a kid. And they were like, I posted on my social media the other day, I was coming out of my bedroom and walking through my living room, and then I just see these bubbles like coming down, and there's like a catwalk in the house, so there's a front and a back, and you're downstairs, and so as I'm walking, there's just bubbles like hitting me in the face. I'm like, is there a leak upstairs, the bathroom? We're in real estate, so I just go to immediately like, what's wrong? And they're just throwing bubbles and running and hiding. You know what I mean? And it was just the cutest thing for an 17 and an 8-year-old to be doing. And it was just hilarious. So just those experiences with them. She's a great big sister. He, of course, wants to play sports and do all that stuff and loves to go fish. And so we just have these totally different. With my daughter at that age, I was doing tea parties and getting my nails painted pink and all that stuff, like whatever she wanted to do, right? And with him, it's like sports and playing with the dog and going fishing. So it's two totally different experiences.
I kind of have to ask something now that you said that.
Go for it.
She paints your nails. Do you leave the house with the nails painted?
Oh yeah,
You
oh,
do?
yeah.
Okay.
Like I'm a girl dad 100%,
Okay.
100% girl dad.
Admitted
Like,
the whole
absolutely,
time.
absolutely. Like no, I have way more pink shirts as a straight man than any other straight man. I guarantee.
Gotcha.
I just forgot one time, and so of course, like I would let her. She like pick my color for whatever. It'd be always clear or whatever. But then she's like, Dad, let's get your. She might have been 3. Can we do pink for your toes? And I'm like, all right, nobody's gonna see my toes, whatever. So I get them done. Week later, I'm in the gym. I'm changing, and this guy looks down, and he's like, and then looks up and looks down, and I'm like, oh shit, they're pink. You know what I'm saying? And I totally forgot about it. And I was like, it ain't like that, man. I got a little girl, and whatever. So
That's what they all say.
Explain like
That's what they all say. I mean,
I will do.
No
I'm that
explanation.
dad, man. When she was little, like I'm like, because as a single parent, you don't have that. I never have her around women. I haven't remarried or anything like that, and so it's me, or it'll be me and my mom. But a lot of times it was me, and so. If we're playing and she wants to play, I'm playmate. So I'm at Chuck E. Cheese in the balls with her playing, or in the tunnel, like getting stuck with my big shoulders or whatever it is. You do, as a mom, you do it all, like whatever it is. So we won't play. Okay, cool. I'm playmate today.
well, I think that's important too. That's another thing to talk about. So you're single now.
Yeah.
Okay, he's single, ladies. Okay, if you're out there, he is single, and I do have to touch up a little bit on this because he
If you're
is.
single and not crazy, I've done my
Who's
community
not
service.
not crazy nowadays?
I've done my community service projects. I'm good.
You men are crazy too now. Let's.
Facts. We all
Okay.
have a little bit.
But so you actually were on a little bit of reality TV too, so we could touch on that too. So it happened to be about dating. So it was Ready to Love.
Yeah.
And we won't get too deep into that, but I just did have a question. So you were single. I mean, obviously at that time, I don't know how long you were single before you went on that show.
Yeah. Funny story. When I applied, when they first started kind of DMing you, like, hey, we want you to be on our show, I was at the end of a relationship. And I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, keep messing up. I'm gonna apply to this thing. You better not apply to that thing. Sure enough, we broke up, and I was like, boop, because it was 6 months later by the time we filmed and did all the stuff. And so, I was very single, and it was a good experience. Yeah.
Would you do it again?
No. Well, I say that. There's 2 shows that are really big shows, like Married at First Sight and another one, and they kind of, after I got done with this show, I think it was Married at First Sight and Love is Blind, reached out, and I was like, no, I'm good. Like, I don't want to, it was a thing, I prayed about it, God was like, yeah, go for it. And I really did. If I would have found my person that way, then great. But it's not something it's a different process. I enjoyed it. And
I think it becomes too much when you're going to many different shows.
it ain't.
I mean,
yeah.
to each his own, but
No knock on anybody else. I wasn't looking for attention that way. It was, am I going to find my person that way? Oh, I'm not? Okay, cool, I'm good.
And you can get that image too if it seems like you're jumping from show to show.
Yeah.
Like, are you just doing it for?
I barely post on social media. Like,
Yeah.
So but it's a great experience. You will never see yourself online in front of a million people every Friday from that perspective, dating. And I'm very analytical, so I was like, man, I need to do better at that.
I was
could've
gonna
been-
say, how does
yeah.
it feel watching yourself? Like, I would be so cringe. Oh my god.
You'd think, oh, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have
Oh,
done
I would
that.
be like, I
or-
should have said that. I should
Yeah.
have said that. I was rude. I was mean.
I was okay with how, because I've done other TV stuff, so I didn't have the butterflies of it. And I was just like, I'm just going to be me, and if that works, then great. And, the producers are like, well, what if you go home? I'm like, cool. Like, I kind of miss my bed. Like, for real.
Yeah.
Because the way they had ours, it was shot during COVID. So we were literally there and in this, lodge for 3 weeks straight, no days off. And so I was ready. I miss my bed.
yeah.
I miss my favorite foods. I didn't
Your
drive
kids.
a car for 4 weeks.
Yep. Two kids then?
Yeah, too. Yeah, I had two. So I miss my kids. I miss my parents. So it was like, if I find love, great. If I don't, I'm cool to go home. Like I'm ready. So
You were ready?
Yeah, it was.
He was ready to love or ready to go home?
Both. Right. I mean, it's you get whatever it is in the moment. And then when that moment is done, it's okay to, I don't need to hold on to that, right? Like, it was fun taping. We taped 12-hour days. And literally you're in front of a camera with cameras following you around and mic'd up. So everything you say can and will be used against you, if it's entertaining to an audience.
Right.
And so it was an experience. And then the young lady that I was dating on the show, her sister passed away while us filming. And I was like, I'm out. And they're like, well, we want you to stay because you can, finish the show. And I was like, I'm here for love. If the biggest love connection that I felt is gone, then I'm out too.
Well, that makes sense. Like I said, it's one of those questions you have to tell yourself is like, if it was something that you saw or resonated with you with how you felt like it was good for your life at that time. And then after that, is it no, yes? Or, because I know that I see some, they go back on these shows and they're still not finding love. So.
Yeah. Sometimes
So it's like, is it them or is it?
Sometimes, and I've seen it with people that I was on a show with where they just get addicted to the cameras and the lights. But I'm like, for what? For me, are we doing something for the community? Are we putting together a charity event to where some underprivileged kids can benefit? Count me in for all of that. But the club appearances and all that stuff, we didn't, it wasn't, didn't get a Pulitzer Prize or this and that. It was, so if you want attention, cool. I'd just rather be doing the work kind of behind the scenes and loving life with my kids and those type of things. Now I have, if there's a birthday and all that stuff, I show up and celebrate and I've made some amazing relationships. But just the need to be in front of the camera just for, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, makes sense. I totally, I don't think I could do it, but, call me. No, just kidding.
It's fun. It's fun, though. It really is fun because, you get a chance to, okay, so for example, I remember this one scene, and they make you put people into, like, okay, who's your number one and your number two, right? So, okay, so say if you're my number one, and then the guy that I'm cool with is also your number two. So, and then y'all are friends and she's my number two. So there was a situation where I'm coming back on a date with my number one and they have your number two ready to go on a date with you and my number two ready to go on a date with me. So I literally give you a hug and say, bye, sweetheart, I had a great time. 30 seconds later, I'm walking out on a date with her. Where in life is that going to happen?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's this crazy.
And for the girl to be okay with it.
And you're about to go out on a date with my boy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just.
Yeah, and if
Yeah,
you
both
actually
ways,
catch
both ways.
feelings, that's hard too.
Yeah.
And by this time you had, because I've made it like, wow, I'm really, you're bonding with this person. You're spending more and more time. But it's also this beautiful experience of, how good are we at communicating? Because now I'm sitting down with you and I'm talking about the date that I had with her after I left you. and I get a chance to see how you relate and are you okay with
Right.
that experience? Because, and I can't be mad at you. You just went on a date with him. Are you gonna be mad at me for going on a date with her? Because we're all doing it if we're dating, right?
Yeah.
You might go out with a gentleman on Friday,
Just
and then
not
next
talking about it.
Saturday you're going to him, and we're not talking about it. So I'm real communicative. Like, let's have a conversation, and so that way everybody knows where each other is, and you're not upset with me about something that we could have just had a conversation with, and vice versa. So it was that I enjoyed, because that was like, okay,
Yeah,
we get into the
and
meat
then
and
it's like a
potatoes.
job too. It becomes like a kind of a little bit of a job when you're having to do this rotation, I think. But
Yeah, I'm not used to the rotation. I'm gonna date one person. If it works, great. If not, cool. Then we get a chance to learn and move on. Hopefully, we remain friends, or whatever the journey was supposed to be that we got
did
that
you
out of
make
it.
friends?
Yeah, yeah. You know, we were all a part of this thing together, right? And we're all away from home. We're 5 hours away from home. You can't just leave and go to your house, whatever case is. And so, we have a certain bond. But just like you might have gone to high school with 1,000 people in your graduating class, 5 of them you're going to be really close to because y'all have similar kind of things in life that y'all do. And so it's kind of like that, yeah.
Got you. Well, moving on. We're not going to keep talking about reality TV, but we may start a show here.
Yeah,
though.
so it's like, that's another show.
We may start something.
Am I
but-
still the him in
yeah,
the show?
Yeah.
He's still
Okay,
the
all right,
him
cool, cool.
so
That sounds
far.
like a great idea. Sounds like
So
a great
far,
idea.
he hasn't messed it up yet. But I think back to fatherhood. So back to, putting dating and fatherhood together, and how you said that when you were raising your daughter, you didn't bring a lot of people around her or women around her. I think that's very important because you see that a lot where single parents will date a lot and introduce people to their children. And I've never done that. I don't feel comfortable with that. I think
I
that
didn't
plays
do
a
that
huge,
either.
I think
Yeah.
that plays a huge
Got
role
30
on your
uncles.
kids.
Remember Uncle
Yeah.
Joey? And Uncle, you know what I mean? Like,
And
what's
then they're like,
uncle
well,
with
you
that?
married your uncle?
Right, exactly. Well, why were you
I know.
uncle
Yeah.
in the room? What y'all
Yeah,
doing?
that doesn't
Yeah, yeah. Be careful. Be careful what
Yeah.
you tell your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very important.
Yeah, I know that whenever I'm married now, but whenever I was...
Congratulations. Marriage is beautiful.
Yes, it is. It is.
How many years?
We're going on 2 years next month.
That's dope.
So,
That's dope.
yeah.
Still like them?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we
All
still have fun.
Okay, cool. That's, hey,
He
keep
hasn't
dating
gotten on
each
my
other.
nerves yet.
Fair enough. Keep dating each
I
other.
haven't met him. I haven't seen him. I don't
Whatever.
Know if he's-
You know, is
Supposed
you
to
know
be
that.
him. Right, right.
Well, I mean, you'll meet him, but he's funny because he said, because I'm the one with more baggage. I have the 3 kids
Yeah.
baggage, and so we didn't live together
Okay.
for the time that we were dating, which was about 8 years or however, I don't remember now. But anyway, so then now that we're living together, trying to get accustomed to the 3 kids
Yeah.
and all of this stuff is
He's
kind of
thinking about
difficult.
changing his
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know.
He's like,
"You tricked
yeah,
me.
I still kept
You
my
tricked
lease.
me."
You know what I mean?
Yeah. he's
So we're
like,
not
"You
going to call
tricked
it
me."
baggage. That's just supporting cast.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
the supporting
There you
cast.
go.
Right, yeah. So he gets to now cohabitate with the supporting cast.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. He has 2 kids, two boys, but
Oh, y'all on some mini baby
but
stuff.
he is
Like,
no,
that's-
but his is
Brady
much
show.
older. Yeah, he's much older. But just talking about the fatherhood, I did see that my kids did need a father figure.
Yeah.
I mean, there was that emptiness
Yeah.
in their lives for so many years. Their dad was in their life, out of their life. So I really admire a dad and that was one of the things that I really love about my husband. He has always been there for his kids, no matter what. And that's the type of father that I really admire. So you being there for your kids,
It's fun, man. I'm gonna be honest with
and
you. When I'm
some
hanging with
men
them,
don't feel that way.
it's so much fun, man. Like
I feel like it's a burden instead of it being something so
Baggage?
fun. Yeah, baggage.
So my guys, like when I had a pretty good bachelor life, right? When I was in my 20s and just being in real estate and kind of got successful early and and just kind of had a really good lifestyle. And then I got married and my boys was like, oh my God, if you can do it, we can do it too. Because you were like enjoying yourself. And I was like, yeah, I met the person. And then just as committed as you are to that, you commit to this, right? You can't stay stuck in that, right? Like it's fun, but then what you doing with it, right? Are you going to raise a family? Or are you just going to be 50 years old and single and like sports cars and, going to Brazil and all that stuff? Like what's the point?
Brazil?
Whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's like you still doing just
Brazil?
boys trips. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. So yeah. And my boys are like, bro, if you can do it, we can, and it's just cool. And then when I got a divorce, they're like, oh my God, I'm never getting married. I'm like, no, bro. I didn't make the right choice. I would never take back being married, enjoying that experience, the difficult parts of it, the great parts of it, and learning from those things, and also having given that opportunity to my daughter to see us cohabitate and try to work on it, right? And then she also now sees that, okay, that didn't work, but dad's still a great person, mom's still a great person. They both thrived in their environment, so it's okay if it's not working to move on and create something better for yourself. And prayerfully, she gets a chance to see me and whoever my future wife is do something beautiful, but it's because of those experiences that I'll be able to be a great husband and a great father, right? Like, it's not meant for nothing. Like, you're going without a great dad for your kids, like, consistently. Now you get a chance to enjoy having this amazing husband for the last 2 years show up in every way for your kids.
Yeah, and they
Like-
talk to him more than me sometimes.
Right. They're like, Mom,
Their voice,
we're talking
I
to dad.
know.
Leave us alone. Like,
I
you know what I mean?
know.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's a beautiful thing. Like, it's all about
Yeah.
the journey. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I think for sure, like for me, I was a young mom, but the biggest thing for me though, I think, is when you do things so young, you're not even developed as a woman, yet, and I was not the person I am now is not who I was then.
Yeah.
And so being with we were in high school together, high school sweethearts. Oh God, it sounds so corny. But I mean, I don't even
I
think
think we
that.
have to say, oh.
I know, that's what I was
I
like.
mean, I don't even think that that's the term, because I just feel like I didn't know any better. I wasn't, there was just so many things I didn't experience, and being with that person for so long, it just slowly started to outgrow them as I became a woman, know, and then I realized that, like, yes, that's a part of my past, and that is something I had to go through. But then I don't know if I had to go through that. I mean, I could have went through that with anybody, you know what I mean, at the same time, because those are things that I felt like, if I would have been with someone else, I still would have been going through that same cycle of life. You know what I mean? Now I wouldn't change it because I have my son, and it was, that was supposed to happen.
Right.
But some of those things I felt like I dated too young. I shouldn't have been in a relationship that young. I felt like I should have lived my best years a little bit without going through that in life, and then started later.
But would you do it any different, knowing what you know now, today, and being where you are today? Would you change anything? And realizing when you change something, it's going to change the outcome
Right.
of where you are now.
Exactly. No, because that's why.
Yeah.
100% that. Would I pick a different person? Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, the experience, they weren't all bad. There's good experiences there too. But I think I just wish I could have just like waited a little bit longer. But I love that I'm now at the age I am, and my son's full grown.
Yeah.
I wish I might have had another kid he would have had a sibling. I'm an only child though, so we make it.
Right, right. Thug it out together.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't come for us, But I learned to share. But yes, of course. But I do think that it's hard for us when we're young because we're not fully grown ourselves, And then I think I grew up a lot with my son, which is, I don't know if that's a bad or good thing for him. He'd probably say bad, but a lot of that was like, when I was pregnant at 21, had him at 22. And I was like, damn, I just got my license to drink legally.
Right.
That's
Right.
crazy. But, those are things that I also love. That I was also a young mom. So going to stuff, I just sometimes felt like, am I going to fit in? Because the other moms are going to look at me funny because I'm the young mom. And I don't want your husband type of deal,
Right.
Sports mom and all that stuff. But great experiences. I definitely feel that, I wouldn't go back and I wouldn't change it. But
I'll tell you this, though, as a single guy, I do look at the age of a woman's kids, and a lot of times it's a plus when your kid is already like grown. I don't have to change diapers, all those type of things, and each part of it comes with its own
that's
benefits.
because you already have kids.
Right, yeah, as a guy that has kids. So it's something that I do look at, and it's like, okay, well, if she's got a newborn, we'll have to talk about it because that's 18 more years, right? Or if they're 15 or 16, okay, we got a few more years, and then we're gonna, so I think that's also something that's a benefit for you now. You still look great, all the above, single, and you can free to move around the cabin without having
without anybody.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You want to take a solo trip, so ladies, consider that, like, as if your kid is older, it's probably something that a guy is like,
oh no,
that's dope.
and also too, that's the same both ways, because I won't date a guy with young kids.
Yeah.
I can't.
I'm too free, you
Yeah.
know, there's so much that goes with that, and it's important. So you do have to have somebody who's willing to be there for, I just think about like sometimes doing it all over again, and
Yeah.
I don't know if
I mean, that was one of the
I-
things with my husband now. Do you want to have more kids?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Right,
I already
right.
have.
First date. We at that
Yeah,
point. We at
that's
that point.
the first
First date.
date.
Right,
Now,
right, right.
That is
How
the
old are
first
you?
What is
20.
credit score and how many kids you trying to have? Right.
Now that I'm older, that was the question.
Yeah. Not well, especially when I meet younger guys and I'm like, come on, you don't have no kids.
Right.
It's not me.
You're trying to
It's
shoot
not
the
me.
ball.
No,
You're trying to shoot the
no,
ball.
And they're like, I want kids. Would you have a kid with
no.
me?
They don't know. I don't want no kids. It's okay. Yeah, right. 5 years
Right.
from
Yeah.
now, you'll want a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I've experienced that. And it's just, but having the conversations early. I don't want anybody to be disappointed. Let's have the conversation, and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then great. You might go find somebody, and then 5 years later, I'll help you raise your 5-year-old, whatever
Yeah.
case is, figure it
For
out.
sure.
It works for them. It works.
Yeah.
And everybody's different,
Yeah,
you know.
for sure.
Everybody's like, it's
And there's no
crazy. I'm
judgment,
not-
I mean,
no, don't judge me, please,
no.
guys. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, world, because a lot of people do. They think I'm crazy, but yeah, because I definitely think like sometimes you can do stuff just for fun. Like some things don't have to be so serious. I think you can also be put it out there and be like, let's just date. I don't want to take this past this, and it is what it is. And so if you're open, I think that's important, and two people can.
I
make
think
something
my
work of
best
it.
relationships, I started doing that probably about 15, when I got my divorce. I was very straightforward. Like right after divorce, I wasn't looking for a relationship. Hey, if you want to travel, have fun, I'm that guy. But if
Yeah.
you're looking for something right now, I'm still working through the weeds in my head of what happened marriage-wise and how I didn't achieve the goal, which was a lifelong marriage that I wanted. And then I got to a certain point and I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm ready for somebody and I can receive that love and more importantly, give that love.
Yeah.
Because what we give is what we're getting back.
Right.
Right. So if I'm loving from an authentic place, then I'm going to actually, the world is just, okay, what's the signal you're giving me? Okay, here's the response that I'm going to give you that.
Yeah.
You want authentic love, you're giving authentic love, then you're going to get that back. What I've realized also now, like even with dating and friendships, I have a barrier of entry. Are you doing your personal work? Are you in counseling? Are you reading? Are you advancing yourself? Are you still developing the character of who you are? And if cool, then we can have a conversation, whether it's friendship or whether it's possible marriage later on in life. But that's a for sure hard, like, yes or
Put it out
no.
there, yeah.
And because when we get into conflict, which will happen at some point, my conflict resolution skills are going to be based on my emotional intelligence. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I have a certain emotional intelligence because I'm working on it,
Do you throw
and then
things?
you choose not to, no, I'm not a thrower. I am. So my daughter, literally this happened the other day. I'm talking to my daughter and she kind of got in trouble, whatever. And it wasn't anything major. And when I am upset, then I'll talk quietly. And I'm like, sweetheart, I love you very much. I always start off with that. I love you very much. I need to talk to you. She's like, well, stop yelling at me. I'm like, I'm not yelling. She's like, that's your way of yelling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like one of us has to be in control of their emotions, right?
Yeah.
Let me be that person and let me lead with that. So, I need to talk to you about this. Are you at a place where you can have a conversation? Yeah, Dad, I'm cool. Okay, cool. So here's what happened. What are your thoughts about that? Right? And if we're asking questions like that to our significant other, how are we going to fight?
Yeah.
How are you going to have an aggressive conversation with somebody that said, you know what, I love you so much. Can we talk about
Yeah, you
something?
gotta walk away.
Or
Bring the
it'll
space.
get them mad,
You gotta
even
go
more
in.
mad.
If you throw something at that point,
You are.
you're the
I
problem.
know. Stop talking to me.
You know you're talking to two Latinas,
I
right?
know.
Right.
You know we hate that,
We
right?
can find a way.
Silent treatment. And
Yeah.
Oh man! I
Okay,
had
we're
my
working on
first
that.
Latina dating experience, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot.
yeah.
I mean, we get a little hot pretty
I
easy.
know, so-
I'm like, why? I'm talking quietly. Why?
When you meet our moms, you know.
We were
You
fed
know.
chile growing up.
Oh man,
Spicy.
yeah. I've got questions. If I continue to go down the Latina route, can y'all be
yeah.
my?
We can help you.
I
We
appreciate
got
That
you.
is another
I mean,
show.
We'll be
Yeah.
100% real on
Yeah.
that one.
I
For
need
sure.
if that's the place I'm going
And
to
we fight because we're mixed. So
Yeah.
Right.
she's
Colombian,
and
Mexican.
and I'm Mexican and Persian. So
We got everything.
which crazy enough, Middle Eastern is a lot like being Latin too. I mean, being
Oh, yeah.
Really?
the cultures are kind of similar. Yeah, when it comes to moms and dads and
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
except for the dads.
Yeah.
My dad is very
Strict. Or
No,
Not
not
strict,
strict.
that's
He's not
the word.
strict. He's very loving, but not like touchy feely.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
like we don't do. That's like kind of awkward for us. And then the other side, Mexicans, we're fucking touchy feely, love, and all this stuff.
So what are you? Do you end up like?
What do I
end up
take?
being?
Partake?
Yeah.
I would say I'm definitely like my dad. I'm definitely like my dad. That's something I've had to work through.
So if a dude's like on a date, you're on third date and he's trying to hug you, are you like, hey?
Kind of.
Really?
Like,
PDA
no
is kind of-
PDA.
Yeah, PDA
Really? No holding
is-
hands?
Yeah, that's kind of it's. But I've worked through that, so it depends on the guy. The guy has to bring that out of me
Okay.
because I'm the type of person that's going to be very standoffish in public.
Okay.
But and then my mom, on the other hand, on that side, it's very different. So I kind of take on both. I take on both when it comes to finances. I take on both because like, and within Mexican culture, I feel like it's like spend it and make it. You worked hard, lived through it. My dad's like, don't spend a damn dime.
Right,
You know,
right,
like
yeah.
save it all.
Yeah.
And so that the cultures are different in that sense. But I think when it comes to how we raise the children is a lot alike because the boys are very spoiled when it comes to the two
Yeah,
cultures.
yeah.
And the girls are always protected and you need a man and you have to like, you know, like one thing with my dad is he's very like, he plays that role a lot. And I feel like, because we work in a family business and I swear he treats me like I'm still 15. And I'm like, you
for
do
sure.
know I'm like a mom now with a
Yeah.
grown son, you know, it's like he's my brother.
Yeah.
But it is crazy because it does reflect who you are as a person. And I totally know that. Like I work on those things and think, okay, don't do that because those are things that you don't like already.
Right.
So don't continue to, you know.
Right.
And so, you know, I think those are, my son probably would say the same thing because my son, we talked about that. And as a mom, a single mom, and my son's half black. So one of the things I always have to be tough with him. And being tough with him,
Thanks
I
for
think
being
I'm
down
too
with the
tough.
bros. Appreciate
Yeah.
that. Appreciate that.
I think I've been too tough though because I feel like sometimes I don't get enough of that love bug feeling from him, you know, like,
Yeah.
and I sometimes feel like I missed that. I gave too much of what I got and I need to be better at that.
My dad was that way, like traditional man, you know, like very, you know, kind of stern this way, but with my daughter, you know, I love you, sweetheart, Bob. I'm like, bro, I ain't heard that in 2 decades, you know what I mean? But it was more shown through action as a son. My mom was very loving, always hug, I love you, that type of stuff. And I take that, like I'm that way with my kids, you know, where they get tired of me. I'm like, hey, like I know you love me. Because they just know what's
Yeah.
coming next, right?
But
Just
it's
giving them that,
important.
yeah.
It's important. It's
yeah.
definitely important. I can say from both sides of that boat, it's important. I think that you should do that, especially with your daughters, because they need that. They definitely need to see that a man believes in them on top of that.
For me, as a girl dad, I feel like my job is to give her a healthy relationship with men.
Right.
Right. If she understands what unconditional love is from me, when she gets out in the world and she starts dating, and she's like, something don't feel right about this. She won't even know what it is, but she knows what unconditional love is. And when she experiences unconditional love, I feel like she'll gravitate to that because it's going to remind her of me.
Exactly.
I found myself dating women at certain points in my life that give me certain things from my mom, right? And I was like, why did I even... Oh wow, mom was like that. Okay, all right. I hate to be Freudian about it, but at the end of the day, that's what we got.
Yeah,
right? Like
it's what you do. It's what you tend to do when they say, "Why do these guys date someone like their mother?"
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, but yeah, I catch my son doing that. Like when I ask him, like, what kind of girls, you know, it's kind of been. Well, he's my son's out there. Like he'll be like, you know, I'm in a lot of cultures, so he's like, he's dated Middle Eastern,
Yeah.
he's dated Latinas, he's dated, you know, I think he's dated a mixed girl. But I'm just like, he's like, well, I'm trying to see where I fall. But he's been venturing towards those Latinas, and he's like, I know they're crazy.
It's the
but-
spice. It's what you gave him. It's what he saw.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's what he
Yeah, it
saw
comes
growing
out.
up. He's like, okay, I'm something about the Tabasco
Oh my
and the,
God.
you know, the Cholula.
Yeah,
is
he's
where
like,
I'm at.
well, now he's just single. He's like, because it's just too much. All of
Yeah.
it's too much. But
It's
He
a lot.
learned.
yeah, but anyways, I think we can wrap
We could,
this
like,
up and
talk
just
all day.
This
All
has to be
day.
a part 2, part 3,
Three,
part 4.
yeah.
But I appreciate you coming on the show, and I
Yes.
just want to say Happy Father's Day.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I want to say
Father's
Happy
Day.
Father's Day to everybody out there,
Yes.
all the men doing their thing. Happy Father's Day, and especially the ones that are doing what they're supposed to do, because
Yes.
that's so important. I think that we need to have more of that out there and share the love, right?
Yes,
for
for
sure.
sure.
And then have you back on because we're going
Yes.
to talk more about being single.
I'm with it. I'm with
I
it.
That's
think we need to
essential.
we need to
Ladies,
Yes.
DM us, reach out.
The
Don't make me
questions
take
are
my
gonna
hat
Yeah.
come in.
What do y'all think about
It's getting
Mr.
hot.
Jay?
It's getting hot.
Jay's just the first. He won't be the last.
I'm with it, man. But no, I really appreciate y'all having it. It's Men's Health Month. So I would be mistaken to not mention that.
Yes.
And Father's Day, and like it's okay to not get us a tie or some socks. You know what I mean? Like
I agree with that.
I say this every year. It is so easy to get a reservation at any restaurant on Father's Day.
Okay, so he's a go take him out to a restaurant type of guy.
Right, like something, like do something. Like
You're not
you know,
grilling?
huh?
You're not grilling for Father's Day?
I am not. If a masseuse ended up at my house and my favorite restaurant ended up getting delivered and somebody took my dog out for me for a run, and you know what I mean? Like, come on, dudes
all
need some
you
love
need.
too.
Yeah, that's all you need. I agree with that one. That's
Yes. Ladies,
but-
spoil your men for Father's Day. Please,
Yeah, do
spoil
it.
them.
I don't know who's gonna do it for him, but
Right. I gotta wait till I find my person.
his daughter's got to use his credit card.
Right. I can always tell when Father's Day's coming up because I see the Amazon purchases on my card. So it's just, I'm cool with that. Just give me something. I'm cool to pay for it.
well, we love that. We do, and hopefully you'll come back on.
Absolutely. Thank you for allowing me to be the first him in y'all's her.
Yes.
And
Maybe our forever him.
yeah.
Who knows?
Aw. Can
All
I get
right.
like a different color mic?
Yes, we will do that for
All
you.
right, cool. That's what's up. That's
We'll
what's
do that for you. We'll get you black.
up. That's what's up. That's what's up.
All right, till next time, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.